with the era that we live in, where more and more jobs are being eaten up by automation, and I'm sort of thinking specifically around, let's say 10 years ago, checkout staff began to be replaced by self-checkout. So you would, scan all your own goods and stuff. So instantly that's a few jobs gone. Now what we're seeing in the last month or two is these like Amazon cashless checkout stores. There's one famously opened in London, I think last month. And the technology will now allow you to go in, scan the items by yourself off the thing, and then as you leave, it will detect that you're leaving, and it will just charge your credit card that's registered to your Amazon account. So what does that mean? Well, it means that not only are we replacing a lot of jobs on the checkouts that were already replaced by the self-checkouts, but we're also potentially replacing like the very few jobs that there were left in that sort of customer service space within that shop environment. And that it's not just going to be an Amazon supermarket. It's going to, that technology will be sold on to Tesco and sold on to Sainsbury's and sold on to WH Smiths and so on. So let's assume dystopianly, if that's a word, that all of those front of house sales staff jobs go. And that is, 50,000, 100,000 people of the labour market are now jobless, low skilled or lower skilled, on welfare. Do you have confidence as recruiters in the tech space that the 100,000 jobs that were eaten by the robots, there will then be another 100,000 jobs created for C++ developers? Do you think one will replace the other?
Well, as you can see, that I've been around for a long time with the white beard and everything. So this debate on similar lines has happened in the past. I mean, if you think about when computers were invented and when they were rolled out across the world, it was the same fear that people had, that computers are coming, they're going to eat up jobs, and what's going to happen, the labor market's going to crash and everything. However, what happened was, on the contrary, the labor market grew. There were more jobs now than before. So it's the same thing that is happening with robotics, AI, and all the other emerging technologies. People are worried that there would be jobs that would be lost, and that's true. There would be job losses. Like you mentioned, that the till workers would no longer be required. So there would be job losses. That has been the case historically as well. But what happens is, when something like this happens, people reskill and they move into better jobs. So yes, you will lose a till worker, but you'll have more programming jobs. You'll have something new will always come up, and that has been historically been the case. The economics says that the market finds an equilibrium in whatever situation. So we are facing another of that equilibrium balance, wherein one kind of jobs might go, but it might lead to more intelligent jobs, possibly better lifestyles. And that has been the case since ages, and it's going to continue. So that's my view on what's going to happen in the future with robotics and AI and a lot of other technologies making disruptive changes to the world. However, I don't see a real danger of unemployment in the labor market. I think it's just going to be that people are going to start working in a different profile, most likely a better profile than what they have worked at so far.
I see. I feel like you've got a way more positive outlook than I do, because I sort of feel like if I look at the setup at the moment of Google, Amazon, Facebook, all these big companies who pay a crushingly low amount of tax, certainly in the UK. And let's say that these traditionally labor market, lower skilled jobs slowly get eaten up by robots. And then the lower skilled individuals who can't retrain to be a C++ developer or whatever, let's just say it's a guy pushing a trolley around, or a trainee hairdresser that is then replaced by a robot hairdresser or something. They then go into the welfare system and they're on the dole. And that welfare system is traditionally funded by tax. And if Google and Facebook and Apple and all these big companies are the winners, they're the companies, the corporations that are growing as a result of this scenario. And if they're paying no tax and the other companies are shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, then there's going to be a crunch point where the tax is going to dry up and there won't be sufficient support there and resources for the people that are left. And because the majority of people are actually within that labour force, here's my dystopian projection, is that you'll end up in a situation in like 2030 or 2035 where about 80% of the UK is in this underclass, like rotting city of disease and chaos, and then there'll be 20% of people who work for Google and Facebook and Apple who will live in this gated fortress, protected, and they'll just be fed grapes the whole time. Like, am I totally off base with that? Do you think that's realistic, or do you think that's...
I think you're not, because there are already Hollywood movies made on the scenario that you're discussing, wherein corporations control a gated fortress, and people who follow the corporation live and are wealthy and well off, and there's a section of people who kind of are out of it and who are poor and struggling. So you're not wrong in your assumption. There are already Hollywood movies made on that. But being positive again, I really don't think so that will be the case, because I've been looking through LinkedIn quite regularly as to what people have been doing, and recently I had an excellent example of why that's not going to happen. The main worry that we are talking about is people skilling up to moving to the next level, wherein they can be hired by these corporations or any other corporations that possibly might develop in the coming years. And I've known a few people since when I was in the UK, and they are above a certain age wherein technology might not be that easily absorbed, so to say. However, I've seen several success stories in there. I mean, I know somebody who possibly is the age of my grandmom, and she's running a digital marketing company.
Oh, great! What did she retrain?
So she retrained herself. Yes, exactly. So people are taking up technology at a very rapid pace, right? And I've got gray hairs, right? And I'm on social media as well. So I've kind of learned it. And you look at kids these days, right? They're absorbing technology really, really fast. And they're teaching the older generation as well. The older generation is also interested. I mean, you look at the number of people and look at the age groups that are online at the moment, you'd be astonished from what it was before.